Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin shortly. Please take your seats and ensure you have silenced all cell phones and electronic devices. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Staff Sergeant David Flint, your narrator for today's ceremony. And on behalf of the presiding officer, Brigadier General Heather L. Pringle, Commander, Air Force Research Laboratory. Welcome to 711th Human Performance Wing Change of Command. Today we will observe a change of command ceremony in which the reins of responsibility and leadership of the 711th Human Performance Wing will pass from Brigadier General James H. Dienst to Brigadier General Jeannine M. Ryder. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party. Remain standing for the ruffles and flourishes, the General's March, and the playing of our national anthem by the Air Force Band of Flight. Please remain standing while Chaplain Kilala gives the invocation.
If you will, please join me in prayer. Almighty God, on this wonderful afternoon, I bring before you this change of command from Brigadier General James Dienst to Brigadier General Jeannine Ryder with overseeing the mission of the 711th Human Performance Wing. God, we proudly honor and reflect upon General Dienst's time as commander, his commitment to the mission of advancing human performance to develop and improve our Air Force's capabilities and might, and yet leading the way with humility and in such a personable way. We're sincerely thankful for his wonderful leadership, his influence upon us, and selfless sacrifice made throughout his time here. And now for our incoming commander, Brigadier General Jeannine Ryder, who likewise with her vast experience and wisdom gleaned over the past 20 assignments, and coming from serving as command surgeon for the past 2 years, as we've been blessed by the work of her excellent leadership and the impact of her selfless service with each and every assignment. Oh God, I ask that you would continually bless her service as our incoming commander and in this new capacity as well. And so I commit this ceremony to you, oh God, praying according to your sovereign will for the good of our Air Force and our great country. Amen.
Thank you, Air Force Band of Flight and Chaplain Kilala. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I would like to recognize our special guests joining us today. We would like to begin with a very warm welcome to Brigadier General Dienst's spouse, Miss Judith Dienst, and their daughter, Heidi, and to Brigadier General Ryder's spouse, Mr. Terry Ryder. General Ryder's daughters and other family members also wanted to be here today. However, they are cheering from Massachusetts, South Carolina, Texas, and Louisiana. We're also very pleased to welcome a few of our distinguished guests here with us today. Mr. J.T. Harris, spouse of Brigadier General Pringle, the Honorable Bob Stone, Mayor of Beaver Creek, the Honorable Sarah Mays, Mayor of Xenia, the Honorable Pete Williams, Mayor of Riverside. From Air Force Material Command, Lieutenant General Carl Schaefer, Deputy Commander and his spouse, Pauline. From the Ohio House of Representatives, the Honorable Rick Perales, representing Ohio's 73rd District. From the Air Force Research Laboratory, Mr. Jack Blackhurst, Executive Director, Mr. Tim Bunning, Chief Technologist, Colonel Paul Henderson, Vice Commander, and from the 711th Human Performance Wing, Mr. Daryl Phillipson, Vice Director, and his spouse, Tammy, Dr. Rajesh Naik, Chief Scientist, Mr. Michael Newman, Director of Staff, and his spouse, Angela, Dr. Kevin Geis, Director of the Airman Systems Directorate, Colonel Tess Goodman, Commander of the United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine, and her spouse, Greg, Chief Master Sergeant James Woods, Senior Enlisted Advisor, 711th Human Performance Wing. From the 88th Air Base Wing, our Installation Commander, Colonel Patrick Miller, and Command Chief Master Sergeant Jason Schaefer. And finally, we extend a special welcome to our entire in-person and virtual audience and say thank you for joining us to witness this tradition as we say goodbye to Brigadier General Dienst and his family, and welcome Brigadier General Ryder and her family to the 711th Human Performance Wing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Pringle.
Well, today is a great day. We're very excited to commend and congratulate General Jim Dienst on a wonderful tenure during his time with the 711th Human Performance Wing. And we get to welcome a new leader. We're going to pass the flag, this honored military tradition, from one great leader to another. And it's wonderful to have you all participating and supporting us today. In short, the 711th Human Performance Wing gets to build on a long-standing record of excellence that General Dienst created and that General Ryder will get to continue. But I want to start by thanking all of you for being here today, whether you're in the room or online. It's no small feat to get here and to figure out for participating. It can be a very difficult task, but it's all the more meaningful that you play a part. And so where I want to start is right here in this front row with Miss Judy Dienst and their daughter, Heidi Dienst. Thank you so much for being here. And you know, today, this event is Jim's last official duty for his 25 years of service. And it's right and wonderful that you're here today like you were 25 years ago. You'd already been married a couple years when he came in and he said, I think I want to join the military. Were you surprised by what he said at that time? He'd already been in practice, had his private practice in optometry for a couple years. And then he decided to change course and he wanted to be a part of something bigger. And since that day and every day forward, Judy, you and your family have supported him, and we can't thank you enough for your behind-the-scenes support and all the service and sacrifices that you and your family have made. You're definitely leaving this service better than you found it, and we know that you were the more popular one at the bases than Jim was. We also want to thank your 2 daughters, your 3 sons, and your 4 grandchildren for their service and sacrifice. We have Ann and Nick and Tony, Mitch, and of course Heidi, as well as the grandkids, Adeline, Una, Lennox, and Maggie. There we go. A wonderful family that you've raised, a wonderful family that's been a part of our Air Force family and will continue to be going forward. And we just want to say thanks for all your service and sacrifice, and we wish you all the best. Let's give them a round of applause. And then turning to the incoming commander's spouse, Mr. Terry Ryder, thank you for being here today. This isn't your first change of command ceremony, of course. You've been part of the command team with Jeannine for over 5 command tours. And I've heard Jeannine say that you were her best life decision. Even back on that Halloween night in the 90s, the early 90s, you've been a supportive husband every single day of her military career for almost 30 years. And you've been a wonderful father, and you've taught your 3 daughters to be instrumental or indispensable to everything that they do. And we know that Christine and Paige and Tara are watching online, and we want to thank you all for your support and sacrifice for your mom, allowing her to be such a wonderful leader in our military and to take on the mantle of these greater challenges, as we know command most certainly is. And I don't get many opportunities to thank my own spouse publicly. JT is standing here, or sitting here. But without a doubt, he gives more than he gets. And I am really grateful that he stuck it out with me ever since high school. And even though that was a super long time ago, a lot has changed, but it's great to have you. We still feel like 2 small kids from that small Idaho town. So I want to thank our distinguished guests here in the audience. We have Honorable Perales, thank you so much for being here today. It means the world to have your support, and we're glad to have you. We have Mayor Stone, Mayor Williams, as well as Mayor Mays. And with so much going on in the world and in your communities, it means all the more that you're joining us here today. Thank you so much. General Schaefer, Mrs. Schaefer, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. It's an honor to have you here. Members of the AFMC Command, of the Air Force Research Lab, and most especially of the 711th Human Performance Wing. I'm glad that you're here. We know it's going to be difficult to say goodbye to General Dienst. He's had a wonderful 14 months in command. He's accomplished so much, and we're going to talk about that in just a little minute. And of course, his shoes are going to be hard to fill. But the silver lining is who we get to welcome into our AFRL and 711th family, General Ryder. She comes to us with a wealth of experience, a wealth of leadership under her belt, and she is going to be phenomenal. So let me start this story by recapping how General Dienst got here and what led to today. I want to tell you about some of the amazing accomplishments that happened under his tenure, and it won't surprise you that in just those 14 months, he really accomplished so much. He comes from a small town, a rural life in Kansas. He worked on multiple farms, and he learned the value of hard work and getting things done. It was really good preparation for the military, and he lived by the core values of integrity, service, and excellence in all we do. In high school, he only had about 25 kids in his class, but he loved to rodeo and do a lot of outdoor stuff. And all in all, it was great preparation for a military life. But he looked up to his father and his uncles who were optometrists, and that led to his life calling of serving in the medical profession. But he also had a grandfather who served during World War II. And if you were at his ceremony on Friday, you probably heard the story about the flag that his grandfather received that was given to Jim last Friday to honor that great tradition of military service. And so in 1996, after Jim and Judy have been married just a few years, and Jim's watching on TV what's going on in Desert Storm, he decided he wanted to do more than just practice optometry. He was very successful. He had 2 clinics, or two businesses that were open. And he asked if there was something bigger in store for him. And he talked to Judy, and he wanted to see if the military was a career that they might embark on. And thank you so much for saying yes and jumping all in, because when one person in a family joins the military, it's really the whole family, as you know. And so early in his career, Jim did serve as an optometrist. He was, in fact, the #1 optometrist in the Air Force in 2001. The entire Air Force. He wasn't just an optometrist. He was the best in the entire Air Force. He served at Randolph Air Force Base and also got a residency at Lackland. Of course, this propelled him to greater responsibilities in the middle of his career. He worked at a variety of headquarters throughout our Air Force: Air Education and Training Command, Headquarters Air Force, where he did plans and programs, as well as Headquarters Joint Task Force in the National Capital Region. Jim really made a mark and did a great job. He served at command as a squadron commander at Pope, and then he fleeted up to deputy group commander there as well. This is particularly meaningful because those are joint special operators, and what they do each and every day is harder than what any of us could really imagine. And the fact that not only he served them well, but they wanted to keep him on and give him greater responsibility is truly a testament to Jim's leadership. He was selected for a medical group command at Robbins, and we know that Judy had a big impact on the Robbins community there. He served as the Command Surgeon General for the Air Force Reserve Command, and he served at the Defense Health Agency doing finance as well as joint lessons learned. So all in all, everything that Jim did built on each experience, built on the next one, and led him to increased responsibility. Just prior to taking command of the 711th, Jim was commander of the Air Force Medical Operations Agency, which is located in San Antonio, Texas. This is a $6 billion annual budget with a personnel staff of 600 personnel supporting worldwide operations. They ship equipment, they ship supplies all over the world supporting Air Force medical operations. And because Jim did so well there, he was asked to come to the 711th Human Performance Wing and take command here. And boy, were we lucky to get him. So when he took command just June of last year, that was barely 14 months ago, I want to talk about what he is most proud of having done since he's been part of this wing. You had big plans to build some unity across the wing, to leverage that one wing concept, that one wing, one mission, even though there were multiple components of it. Of course, we have the United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine, which is led by Colonel Tess Goodman here in the audience. We have the Airman Systems Directorate, led by Dr. Kevin Geis here as well. And you were making great progress in building on that one-wing concept. You talked about developing the first ever strategic plan for the 711th Human Performance Wing, a wing that had been in existence since 2005. You built a governance process that helped continue the forward momentum of what that strategic plan sought to achieve. You developed the group, board, and council process so that Issues could be discussed transparently with a wide group across the wing and really got a lot of business done. You set the tone and built the foundation for improved communications. And under your watch, a lot of really great things happened, from the Airman Systems Directorate supporting over 28 acquisition programs ranging from the Joint Strike Fighter F-35, the presidential aircraft, the TX trainer aircraft, and a variety of sustainability, human performance improvements were made. But I have to say, what probably really defined your tenure since you've been a part of the 7/11, Jim, has been the response to the COVID-19 virus. When that hit in late January and early March, where did the Air Force turn but to the 7/11 Human Performance Wing? We didn't have the testing protocols, we didn't know how to deal with it, and Jim's team, under Jim's calm and steady leadership, was able to rise to the occasion. They set the tone for the entire DoD on how we would respond to this crisis. And all the while that you're taking care of the entire DoD, you ensured that the 7/11th team stayed safe and that they were protected and their families were protected, and they were able to get the mission done. It was Herculean effort, and you helped lead Colonel Tess Goodman to get the job done. You secured critical testing supplies when there was a national shortage, and you brought it into the epidemiology lab. You ensured that we had the manpower to get the job done, whether it was looking across the School of Aerospace Medicine, but also reaching across the wing and leveraging in new ways the professionals in the Airman Systems Directorate to support. You reached across this wonderful base at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base to get additional personnel. And even when that wasn't enough to support the volume and tests that the Epi Lab had to deal with, you reached across the entire Air Force to bring in professionals and up the capacity from just 1,000 tests that could be conducted a day to 2,000, 3,000, and you're well on your way to achieving 4,000 and 5,000 tests in a day. And it didn't stop there. Tests that used to take 24 hours to get results are now down to 12 hours. Talk about driving efficiency, that's pretty incredible. And you continue to be at the forefront, the Epi Lab continues to be at the forefront of the DoD response. And to date, they have tested over 100,000 specimens. No other entity in the entire DoD even comes close. Not even Walter Reed, which is number 2, and their throughput is only about 500 samples a day, and the Epi Lab under General Dienst's leadership got all the way up to 3, 4, and 5,000 tests in a day. And so today, when the nation still looks to the 7/11 to execute the DoD's global response program and to set the protocols for over 100 military treatment facilities around the world, to understand the evolution of this virus, to characterize how it circulates, to monitor disease trends, and measure vaccine effectiveness, the 7/11 will be there. If they need someone to model and simulate any of these items, the 7/11 will be there. And we can't thank you enough for everything that you have done throughout your career, but particularly here as part of our 7/11 family. We're truly grateful. We know you're excited to get to hiking in the Appalachian Trails once it opens back up, but we want you to know that as part of our Air Force family, you will be remembered as more than just an Air Force optometrist. You will be remembered as a selfless and caring leader who made a difference and took the 711th to the very next level. But we're even more fortunate to have General Jeannine Ryder take the helm. Let me tell you about the commander that you are about to get. You couldn't ask for a more experienced leader, someone who's commanded over 5 times in her career, once at the squadron level, 3 times at the group level, and now at the wing level. Let me tell you how she got here. It all started in a little town in Massachusetts, and in fact, her parents who are online watching today, they still live in the house that they did on the day that Jeannine was born. And that says something to the solid foundation that you built your life on, you built your character on, and you brought that to the military. We're so lucky to have that wonderful foundation. Your grandparents, your aunts and uncles still live in that same Massachusetts town. And Jeannine often describes how her family was very supportive of everything that she did, whether it was in the military or growing up throughout her life. She did a lot of sports in high school. She competed in track and cross country and skiing, of course, because it was Massachusetts. And I don't know if you knew this, but her mascot for her high school, they were called the Generals. And I think that may have been a little indicator of what was in store for you, Jeannine. You were pretty tough to keep up then, and you haven't slowed down a day since then. So she grew up with the same core values that Jim grew up with in that small Kansas town. Jeannine lived up to the values of integrity and service and excellence in all she did. Another great foundation for military life. She looked up to her grandmother. And you'll probably find it is no surprise that her grandmother was also a nurse. She moved from Nova Scotia to Massachusetts. She wore that nice little crisp white hat that nurses wore back in the day. She'd walk back and forth to work, even in the snow, which you know was probably 9 months out of the year because it was Massachusetts. And she took care of patients in their toughest day, in their toughest time. And Jeannine really wanted to be a part of that and serve in the same way. And when you ask her why she actually joined the military when she wanted to be a nurse, she said she wanted to be independent and she really wanted to expand her experience. And the military certainly gave her that opportunity. So she joined the military in 1991, and in 1992 she married Terry, and you've been that team as part of our Air Force for so long since then. You started in your early career as a nurse in obstetrics at a unit in Germany, and then you grew to the role of Director of Education and Training, which is even more important because you were teaching those who are administering the care, and you did it extremely well. And that was at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. In the middle of her career, Jeannine was groomed for increased leadership opportunities. She started as a pediatrics flight commander, and then when she went to Maxwell Air Force Base, she became a course director for all the airmen who came through and got their intermediate development education. Again, your experience in leading others and teaching them how to be great leaders came through. And then it wasn't enough that you were just the course director at Air University. You fleeted up to become executive officer for the general there. And Jeannine says that's really where you learned about leadership, attention to detail, organization, and working hard in the military. Following that, you became a squadron commander of a medical ops squadron at Hill Air Force Base. And because of how well she performed as a squadron commander, she was entrusted to continue to lead at even more senior ranks. You've heard me mention that she was a 3-time group commander. I have to tell you, this is a remarkable testament to Jeannine's leadership. It shouldn't be lost on us that command is a rare privilege and one that we don't take lightly. It's rare just for anybody in the military to have the privilege to command. Rarer still for somebody in the medical community. And then if you narrow it even further, rarer still for a nurse to have that opportunity to command at the group level 3 times in a row. It's because she knows how to deal with crisis in a calm demeanor. She knows how to handle change and get it done. And most of all, she knows how to care for airmen. You did phenomenally well at your previous group commands, whether it was deployed or at a Tier 2 at Tinker, or leading up to the Tier 1 at Keesler Air Force Base. Each time she tried command, she succeeded and she got accepted for more. So we couldn't ask for a more experienced leader than Jeannine Ryder. In fact, when you talk about her time at Keesler, Keesler wasn't on the map in terms of its hospital for any awards or things like that. But under her command, her 3rd group command, the hospital at Keesler was selected the #1 hospital in the United States Air Force. That's a phenomenal feat. That doesn't come lightly. That's a lot of people who are also doing excellent work. And the competition, I'm sure, was very challenging, but you led your team so well. And not only that, but you were #1 in DoD for patient satisfaction. How do you get that? It's hard to get patients to be satisfied across the board. Very difficult feat. But to be #1 in DoD is truly amazing. And when you ask Jeannine, what did she learn from her repeated commands and how did she learn it? She talks about it's the chiefs who keep you focused, and it's the chiefs who ensure that you're taking care of airmen. And let me tell you, you're getting a great chief here in the 7th, 11th with Chief Woods, and I know you're going to enjoy it there. Just prior to joining the 711th, Jeannine was the Air Force Materiel Command Surgeon General, and that was no small feat either. She had to serve a beneficiary population of over 600,000 personnel. She led the greatest change in this office that had been seen in over 25 years. You reorganized 4 military treatment facilities, and very much like General Dienst, she had to set the policy and the pace and the reporting to respond and react to the COVID-19 virus. And you did so well. We are lucky to have you as part of the 711th Wing now. While she will take the flag from General Dienst and become the commander of the 711th Human Performance Wing, Jeannine will also start her position as the chief nurse of the Air Force. No small feat, but it's because of the trust and confidence that we have in her leadership. She will be responsible for the care and feeding, development, and leadership paths of every single nurse in the entire Air Force, all 19,000 of them. And I know she's going to do that while getting the right leader to the right mission. Truly, you are more than ready. Your previous commanders have said wonderful things about Jeannine. There is no better medic and no better leader. She has operational credibility. She has 3 master's degrees, phenomenal experience, and she's truly done it all. But most of all, she cares about airmen, and we're excited to have you on the team. And last but not least, I want to speak directly to the men and women of the 711th Human Performance Wing. It's really been a true inspiration to watch you deliver unparalleled research, education, and consultation under General Dienst. And I know that you are more than ready to continue that trend of excellence under General Ryder's leadership. The 711th is a special place, and you are really like no other. Since 1917, you have advanced aerospace medicine and human performance. The Air Force wasn't even a service yet. And since 2005, you became 1,400 personnel strong. You transformed into a single wing that combined the School of Aerospace Medicine with a Directorate of Airman Systems, and you have done exceptionally well. You should be proud of that lineage, but you should be ready for more. Because even in 2019, just last year, we had a new service stand up that has new requirements and will build on your talents and ask you to deliver even more research and education and consultation to support it. Throughout the years, you and the 711th have supported our department's most critical asset, the men and women of our operational military forces. Where else in the Department of Defense can we find a human-centric warfare wing with over 75 specialties, including optometry, nursing, occupational health and safety, research and engineering, technicians, educators, business operators, and so much more. It's really a rare formula that results in incredible success. The vision of the 711th Human Performance Wing is to be a world leader in human performance. Achieving that vision will not be easy. Of course, there will be challenging times ahead, and the future is uncertain. Your vision will require that we outpace our adversaries in delivering research and education and consultation. It requires a clean slate look at how we support not only the United States Air Force, but also the United States Space Force. And most of all, it requires us to lead the best team of men and women and grow diverse, innovative, and war-winning leaders. Our warfighters are counting on us more than ever, and I know you won't let them down. I'm more than confident in this world-class team, building on the legacy of General Dienst and transferring the mantle to General Ryder. I can't wait to see what you all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, General Pringle. Ladies and gentlemen, our commander, Brigadier General Dienst.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a year ago we were standing up here, maybe it does. So, but first of all, big thanks. So thanks to the community leaders who have come out. Like General Pringle and General Ryder, we've been around the block and been to a lot of bases. And most bases have a very engaging community that want to help and support and defend their base. But I would say that the Dayton area and the Dayton Defense Coalition and those kind of folks, this is probably the most engaging and embracing communities I think we've ever experienced. So thank you for what you do, supporting our airmen out there every day and what they do. It means a lot and it takes a lot. So thank you. To my wife, Judy, I was sitting there counting up commands. I guess this was our fifth command as well. Time flies. When you change out more frequently, it goes faster. But when we came here, we didn't think we thought we were going to probably be here for 2 or 3 years, and then just some personal things came up, and we decided it was time to pop smoke and move on to something else. But I will tell you, to the men and women at the wing who are watching and here in the audience, thank you so much for what you guys do. When I was at the Pentagon and other places in air staff and different commands, and we'd always kind of look and hear about this thing out there in Wright-Patterson called the 711th Human Performance Wing after 2005. I wasn't really 100% sure exactly what everybody did out here, but I knew it was really cool stuff. There was a lot of classified things, things we weren't supposed to know, we didn't know, kind of thing. But until you get here and you deep dive into this organization, as I was telling Jeannine the other day, it is, the wow factor is off the charts. It's amazing and impressive, the caliber of people that we have in the wing. I think we have something like, Daryl, I think we have in our brochures like 90 different career fields or some crazy number like that. And these are like world-class, world-renowned, world-known, oftentimes, authors and researchers that are coalesced here. Lieutenant General Travis, who was the Surgeon General back about the time we made this transition to Wright-Patterson, he was the 311th Wing Commander in San Antonio. He always reminds me of that. He said he was like the real first 711th Human Performance Wing Commander before we called it to 711th. But and I told him, no kidding, he's become, I've been connected with him a lot in the last couple of years. And he'll tell you, or I told him, I said, sir, no kidding, the people who figured this out were true visionaries to actually bring together the School of Aerospace Medicine with a 100-year history test, right, last year. And think about where they started. This was like about the time, the Wright brothers were, flying around early on. And they quickly dawned on them, they're going to have to figure out a better way to take care of the humans, oh, by the way. That was our first probably mistake in human systems integration, Kevin, right? We waited until we were flying to say, oops, we probably ought to figure out how to take care of that guy in there. And so, but when we brought together world-class cutting research and education and consultation, subject matter experts, and then we developed the RH model, where Dr. Geis runs, put that all together. I always tell people it's like 2 + 2 = about 25, because it's not, it's an exponential effect when you bring it together. Then this year, when COVID hit, was one of the many examples, but one of the most evident ones to the folks who are currently in the mix of what that meant. So we had people who had different parts and pieces of the puzzle, and that all comes together when you mix an organization like this. And then we had world-class results. Tess and I and Dr. Geis and Mr. Phillipson and others, our biggest job was just to get out of the way, because people were running us down trying to coming up with solutions. We used artificial intelligence to create a tracking model that kind of thinks on itself and starts looking at ways and predictive models that are just truly off the charts, that kind of thing. Briefed all the way through the DoD. Secretary Esper is aware of it. Other MAJCOM commanders are adopting it. And it came right from this organization. So thank you for the teams that are out there, the people who are watching from the wing. It's a wonderful organization. I tell them, be proud every day of what you do. Take care of each other and just keep doing the great things that you're doing. For my directors in the room, and director of staff, Michael Newman, Daryl, my right-hand lightning rod, do everything. He came to us as a non-medic, and we converted him into a medic. And so I think that's a good thing for everybody included. Dr. Geis, you're out there, Tess Goodman, Dr. Naik, Rajesh Naik, who is self-proclaimed very famous guy. No, you have said that, and that's true. I agree with you. But that kind of a combination of people, and just give them the tools and resources, and help develop a vision together. We did this last year to kind of take us to the next level, and Jeannine she has stairs ahead of her. You guys can figure out the new and better things to do. But I think we have the organization set on a better path now, one that's opened the door to being very agile. As General Bunch will say, we can react at the speed of relevance. That we are truly that agile and on our toes to actually go and do whatever comes our way next. So, but to General Pringle, thank you for your kind comments. You know more about me than I do, and that's very good. I really appreciate that, and what a blessing to have you on the team, and just another fresh perspective, and a great leader. I've known you for a while, and so really tickled when I heard you were coming. So Jeannine, you got a great organization. You're absolutely, you hear that, the right person at the right time. No kidding, that's exactly what you are. Coming out of AFMC also gives you kind of a different spin on perspective. As General Schaefer and General Bunch, great leaders to kind of get a feel, the 2030 look, where we're heading over the horizon. Well, what does that mysterious world look like? We're all on the right track to do it, and you coming here as a leader with that background and that sort of thing is just going to, no kidding, be a catalyst to take us to even more success. So congratulations and welcome to the team. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, General Dienst. The change of command ceremony is deeply rooted in military tradition and dates back to the reign of King Frederick of Prussia. During this time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each unit. When a change of command was to take place, the outgoing commander would pass the flag to the individual assuming command. This gesture was accomplished in front of the unit, so all could see and witness their new leader assuming command. Today, our flag bearer is Chief Master Sergeant James Woods, Senior Listed Advisor, 711th Human Performance Wing. And due to current events, he will maintain custody of the flag on behalf of the command. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the change of command ceremony. Attention to orders. Attention to orders. Under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51-604 and Order Number G-20-24, effective 31 August 2020, Brigadier General Jeannine Ryder is appointed the Commander, 711th Human Performance Wing, Air Force Research Laboratory, Air Force Materiel Command, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio.
Ma'am, I relinquish command.
Ma'am, I assume command. It's a little strange.
Thank you, General Pringle and General Dienst. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce the commander for the 711th Human Performance Wing, Brigadier General Jeannine Ryder.
Thank you, everybody. To our local mayors, to Congressman Perales. I believe I met you in Mike Fouch's office at one time. And so one of the biggest bonuses of Terry and I remaining on Wright-Patterson is that, one, we don't have to move, which is a huge deal when you talk about the military. And the other two is that we're able to stay in a community that is so supportive of their military members and their family. to Jeff Hoagland and Elaine, who are up here. I was able, and I had the honor of serving with Jeff's brother in Kuwait. And so the first time I met Jeff, I think he felt like I was stalking him, but him and Brad look really similar. And I was like, how do I know this man? And so thank you for all being here. To General Schaefer, thank you for making sure that I was escorted out of the headquarters building and that I really did come here. And so thank you for your leadership and your supervision. And then Pauline, thanks for being my walking buddy and my friend. To all the leadership in the AFRL and the 7th Human Performance Wing, thank you for being here. This is definitely an interesting time to have a change of command. And I appreciate your time and the effort it took to be here, and that you have to stay in these hot masks first. So I realize that brevity is important and gratefulness is very important. And so I appreciate everyone who was here. And so I went fast. So I realize that this ceremony takes a lot to put together, especially when you have 3 generals up here and several generals or general equivalents on the bottom. And so I want to thank Major Amanda Anderson, Karen Perrell. Thank you, Sergeant Flint, for being the MC. It's never easy for the chaplain, for the many blessings. It is a challenging time, though personally and professionally, for all people, and we need all the prayers we can get. And for the Band of Flight, who is always on, you've been used a lot, especially for the national anthem and for the Air Force song, and so I appreciate you being here today. And then also for letting us use the AFIT location. This is beautiful, we're all spaced out. And I'm just going to do a quick shout out to my SG directorate that they came making sure that I got over here too as well. And so I first want to thank General Pringle, General Bunch, and General Schaefer, and General Hogg for allowing me this opportunity of leadership. When I was at the change of command 14 months ago, I did not imagine that I would be up here today. And so thank you. I will not disappoint, and I will work very hard. To Judy and Heidi and Jim, I wish you all the best. Thank you for giving me such a great organization, and that I wish you all the best. I thank you for your service and your leadership in 24 years, and for the next chapter on what's going to happen. And you didn't move very far either. It took a lot of villages to raise Jeannine Ryder. Some may say I'm passionate, some may say I'm strong-willed. And so for all those supervisors, mentors, wing commanders, chiefs, I always said chiefs make me better because they make sure that I'm going to take care of the airmen, and the airmen always come first. There's a lot of friends who are on the line right now, and so some people say, why do you stay in the Air Force, or why did you stay in the Air Force, or why are you in the Air Force? And it's always about the people and who you meet, and whether it's you work with them and they become friends, and then they become family. But there is a lot that has supported me and Terry along the way, and so we are very fortunate. We do have a great family that supports us. My mom and dad, I know that they are watching from Massachusetts because my father has texted me 4 times to make sure that, that when it was going to be, and to make sure that his technology was working. Chris and Bill, they, and that's not what I call them, Mom and Dad, they made sure that I was well prepared for the Air Force, not knowing that this is the journey I would take. We don't have a lot of military members in our family, and so when I signed up, my dad said, well, I need to talk to the recruiter, and I said, well, I already signed and I'm coming in on the 31st of July. I don't think that they were quite on board with it, but it's worked out okay. I have great sisters, Patrice and Jennifer, and when we talk about cross-country and all those things, when you have 3 competitive sisters, it makes you stronger in the end. And so we were all good athletically, but it's because I had to run with the 2 of them and ski with the 2 of them every single day. Let's see. Peggy and George, I believe that you made sure your mom and dad were on the line before. And so George's career, Army, he retired from the Army. He's a Vietnam veteran. He appreciates this more than anyone probably that I know. He unfortunately was not able to come to my promotion in August because of some health issues, but Peggy and George, they prayed over us, they supported us, they realized the challenges and tribulations of a military career, and they've been beside us every single time. And so the girls, we have 3 girls. I say God has a sense of humor, and that's why Terry has 3 girls. And so Christine, Paige, and Tara, they are doing great things in the world. They're resilient, they're confident. They're much more confident than I ever was at that stage of their life. They're smart, and 2 are off the payroll, which is very important, and 1 will be off the payroll in 2 years. And so we are very proud of what they're doing. They're compassionate, and what they're very loyal, and they're loyal to the Ryder 5. That's what we were originally. Now we're the Ryder 6. Kwong is married to Christine. He is our son. We call him our son. He is the perfect addition to the Ryder family, and we couldn't be more proud of him. He's a civil engineer building the bridges and infrastructure in southeast Louisiana, so I think he's got a lot of work on his hands, and so we're very proud of him. And then Terry. So Terry is my best life choice. He will say that he gave every effort to make sure that I was not going to get promoted, or he'll say, besides my best effort, she still got promoted, and I will say, because of his effort is why I got promoted. We were married he was 20 and I was 22. We were the 90-day fiancé before there was a reality show about that. We dated for 6 weeks and were engaged for 6 weeks, and then we were married, and so it has worked. He has his own career. He works in surgery. He's either saving lives or improving the quality of lives of others. He is also the lawn guy, the barbecue guy, the physics project support team when he never took physics. He's the coffee guy. He is everything to our family, and he is the glue that keeps us together. And he knows, and I tell him every day, we have this argument about who loves who more, and I feel like I love him more because I'm most grateful. And so I thank you for being on this journey, because I know 28 years, this is not what you expected, so thank you. Because he was like, what change of command number is this? And so the only one he's missed is when I was deployed. And so thank you. And so I am grateful for all those who got me here. I'm thankful for those who allowed me this opportunity. But to the men and women of the 711th Human Performance Wing, I can't tell you how honored and humbled I am to be part of your team. Probably for the last 10 years or so, definitely since I've been a squadron commander, was that I talked about 2 huge themes: that we need medically ready airmen, and that we need ready medics. And this is what you do every single day to make sure that we have the right forces and where they need to be. And so when we talk about medically ready airmen, or ready airmen, all airmen, service members, we're talking those who can execute their mission in no matter what environment they are, at their best of their mental, physical, and emotional capability, and you do that every day. And you make sure they can do it the best with the equipment and the technology that they have, and then you make sure they have better technology and equipment to do that every day. And then ready medics. We're able to do many things in the battle or in the AOR because of what you teach, the AE, the CCAT teams, the ground surgical teams, the flight surgeons, bioenvironmental and public health, and all that is just probably like the 6-inch of what you do every single day. And so I am excited. I know that I have a lot to learn. However, I am ready. I'm ready to digest. I'm ready to learn. Dr. Geis, I've already read a whole bunch of slides that I got, and I feel like I stayed in a Holiday Inn Express, but I need to do better, and I know I need to do better. And so I am ready to advocate and support. I'm ready to be part of this team. And again, I thank everybody who is here physically and those who are here virtually for being part of this ceremony and letting me be part of your lives and all of those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Ryder. The men and women of the 711th Human Performance Wing extend sincere thanks and best wishes to Brigadier General James Dienst as we bid him farewell and wish him continued health, happiness, and success in all future endeavors. We also extend a warm welcome to Brigadier General Jeannine Ryder. We look forward to working with you and hope you will enjoy your time with us. We look forward to serving under your command. Under normal circumstances, we would all sing the Air Force song. However, for the health and safety of our guests, we would ask that you all please refrain from singing and enjoy an instrumental rendition played by the Air Force Band of Flight and allow the official party to depart once the first verse is complete. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you for attending and have a great Air Force Day.